let's talk about the card.
Off to the sides. Right here. You're gonna come around in front. I'm gonna come around in front. Everybody,
Hold on, let's watch the face-off first. And we're gonna talk about the card. How would you rate this card from an A to an F on a plus-minus scale? I'm gonna give this card a B. Not a B plus, but a B. Here, let me turn this down. I'm going to give it a B. Because the main event is meaningful. Because let's face it, whoever loses this fight is going to have some real significant issues promotionally. For example, what if Danny loses? You know? Is he the favorite to win? Jose Benavidez, he can kind of go the journeyman gatekeeper route a little bit. But the co-main, or the co-feature, or the chief support, Adam Kownacki versus Ali Demirezen. I'm going to rate that fight a C. Not a C minus, not a C plus, but a C. Because this is Adam Kownacki's first fight back. And also, he lost 2 straight fights to Robert Hernandez. And Demirezen only loss is to Efe Ajagba. So it's a nice little comeback fight. The opening fight on the 9 p.m. Eastern Showtime portion is going to be, let's go full screen before we talk some more. But the opening fight is going to be Gary Antuanne Russell versus Rances Barthelemy. And I never wanted to see somebody get knocked out so bad than Rances Barthelemy. I'm so tired of him. And I hope that Gary Antuanne Russell can make my dreams come true. But overall, I'm going to rate this card a solid B. You know, because the main event does hold weight, does it not? You know, does the main event not intrigue you a little bit? Because even though both of these fighters, you know, have competed at 140 pounds, I don't really consider them both to be natural 154 pounders. For example, let's go look at the resumes of both fighters. Danny Garcia, 36-3 with 21 KOs, 2 division champion, 140, 147. Last fight was December of 2020 against Errol Spence, completely outboxed. Ivan Rances, Adrian Granados, to Sean Porter fight. If you think about it, pretty much after Lucas Matisse, Danny Garcia lost his biggest fights. A lot of people felt he lost to Lamont Peterson. Me personally, I didn't. But Keith Thurman he lost to, Sean Porter he lost to, Errol Spence he lost to. Overall, great resume. You can't argue that. But looking at his fight against, put it this way, I just think overall he's just too small for 154 pounds, body-wise and height overall. Because think about it like this. How do you view him against guys like Charlo? Like, I think he's just too small, you know, but we're going to see how he looks in there. Like, for example, if he's able to buzz or, you know, drop Jose Benavidez, or if he wins. Now, the problem with Jose Benavidez is clear. He's got one leg. That's it's nothing wrong with talking about that. He's got one leg. Let's go look at his resume real quick. 27-1-1 with 18 KOs, 30 years old. A lot of people felt that he got a gift draw against Francisco Torres. This was a fight that took place above the 154-pound limit. As you can see, he weighed in at 157. Fought Terrence Crawford. That was competitive early on, you know, like the very, very early rounds. But what stopped him there? The angles. He couldn't move. You know, he's a very stationary boxer. He does like a lot of pulling back upper body wise. And what you're noticing is his lower half is always there to be hit. Now, Danny Garcia is not necessarily considered a ferocious body puncher, but he does go to the body. And I think that will be, you know, Danny Garcia's best bet. But besides that, he's had a pretty up and down career since he got shot in the leg. I forgot what year that was when he got shot in the leg. A lot of people thought he had lost to Mauricio Herrera. I remember he's had a lot of stories about how he was going to be the next big thing around when he used to spar with Manny Pacquiao. But overall, if you look at him, look what you see here. 140 pounds most of his career, or around that. So I don't really consider him, overall to be he is the bigger guy. He does walk around bigger. I expect for him to be bigger in the ring. He is the taller fighter, listed at about 5'11". Danny Garcia is about 5'8". But Danny Garcia is the favorite. But I just think that Danny Garcia can be easy to hit sometimes. And he's going in against the taller fighter. But Jose Benavidez don't move around. Here is the undercard. You're going to have on the YouTube page leading into the broadcast, I believe it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. You're going to have Vito Mielnicki Jr. taking on, it's going to open up with Sergiy Derevyanchenko taking on a Joshua Conley. Sergiy Derevyanchenko was trying to figure out if he wants to go to 154 or not, 13-4 with 10 KOs. This is going to be on the free TV Showtime portion. 36 years old, pretty much lost all of his big fights. Carlos Adames, Jamal Charlo, Gennady Golovkin, punched him in the stomach real bad. Danny Jacobs, so he's in need of a win. Joshua Conley, 17-3-1 with 11 KOs, 30 years old, nobody of note. Well, he fought Curtis Stevens earlier this year. Beat him in a 6-round unanimous decision. I didn't even know he was still around. Last fight I heard he was at was some fight down God knows where they were shooting in the arena. In Mexico, right? Was it in Mexico somewhere? But yeah, he's still kicking about. And him, I always thought he was too small for 160, Curtis Stevens. But this guy fought Carlos Adames and Julian J. Rock Williams. Okay, so he's been around. I know I heard his name before. So this is going to open up on the Showtime YouTube page at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then you're going to have Vito Mielnicki Jr. That's still rebuilding him back up after he lost his fight a couple years ago, last year actually. He's taking on Jimmy Williams, 18-8 with 2 draws. Luis Arias, Greg Vendetti got a win over Yuri Foreman. That was a pay-per-view. I remember that shit. Brandon Lee, Abel Ramos, Mark DeLuca. So nice little experience fight for Vito Mielnicki Jr. Then the main card is going to open up with Antuanne Russell, 15-0 with 15 KOs. Hopefully he goes to 16-0 because I cannot stand with 16 KOs. That's the important part. Because I cannot stand fucking Rances Barthelemy. Big statement win against Victor Postol. Stopped him. Giovanni Santiago, isn't that the dude that a lot of people thought, had beat Adrian Broner? Stopped him. Adrian Broner returns on the 20th, by the way, against Omar Figueroa. So now he's in another step-up fight against a fighter who really doesn't like to engage in Rances Barthelemy. And I'm scared this is going to be opening up at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Showtime card. And I'm scared that Rances Barthelemy, he's going to get cracked once. And he's going to start his Cuban retreat. Where he's going to start doing a whole bunch of movement and jabbing and really not trying to engage. And we may see Gary Russell get exposed to a sense to not being able to cut off the ring. Because let me tell you something, this guy can fucking dance. And I'm not talking about in an entertaining way. He will dance the night away on you. Now, what is this for? Is this some type of elimination fight? Let's go look at the rankings at 142C here on FightView360.com. By the way, the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. Okay, so where is Antuanne Russell? He is ranked number 11 by the WBA. Number 7 by the WBC. Number 11 by the IBF. And PBC fighters are normally not ranked unless they really, really request by the WBO. So basically, I'm guessing, don't be surprised if we hear on Saturday night that this is some type of eliminator. Not a final eliminator, but some type of eliminator, maybe for the WBC or the WBA or even the IBF, because the WBC has already said that Rigas Prograis is going to be the next mandatory for the winner of Cepeda versus Ramirez. And Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall, they're going to be fighting again. A date can be for that sometime soon. Sabril Matias, what's he doing next? I know we got Alberto Puello taking on Bakhtir Akhmedov on Broner versus Figueroa for this WBA title. So 140 pounds is kind of a little bit all over the place right now. A little bit. And then the next fight we're going to have is the return of Adam Kownacki taking on this man, Ali Demirezen. We're gonna call him Demirezen because I've been pronouncing his name all fucked up since, God knows how long. And they have too as well on the Showtime press conference. 16-1 with 12 KOs. Notable fights, not notable wins. Kevin Johnson, he's still kicking about. And this was in May. 35-19-1 with 19 KOs. I just don't. So he fought him, but he don't get no stripes for that. Did he stop him? And he went the decision with him too. He stopped Gerald Washington, but let's face it, I was never high on Gerald Washington. I don't think anyone ever was, for real. 25-1 with 13 KOs. Lost to Charles Martin, got knocked out by Kownacki. Stopped by Big Baby Miller, the juicer. Got knocked out. He got windmilled by Deontay Wilder. So, all right, he got that win. He lost to F.A. Jogba, but ain't nothing here. So he got Michael Sprott and Kevin Johnson on his record. What is this, 2009? So I don't know, though, but, knowing Adam Kownacki, I'm not real high on Kownacki. You never know which one's going to show up. 20-2, stopped both times against Robert Helenius with 15 KOs. When I knew it was over for him? When he hired his wife as his strength and conditioning coach, and then he ended up weighing more in the fight that he hired her for than he did in the last fight. Like, bro, no. Like, bro, no. But one thing for sure is they're going to pack out the crowd, though. That's what they do, the Polish fighters. He's got a large Polish following in New York. So I expect for the crowd to be pretty lit up in that joint. But overall, as I said earlier, I'm going to rate the card a B, not a B plus, not a B minus, but a B. How do you rate the card, though? What would you rate this card on a A to F scale? You can count plus and minus. But also, since you're rating the card, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. It is official. Let me see if I can show you guys real quick. Finally, man. Finally. Hold on, I'm looking for something. Where is it at? Boom. Let me see if it opens up. Finally. I got a podcast coming. It's coming. My first shows are going to be, let's see here. I have the scripts here. Usyk versus Joshua 2. I'm waiting to see if they're going to announce that to be on pay-per-view or not. I'm shooting my first episodes like this weekend. Crazy. Usyk versus Joshua 2. Waiting to see if they're going to put that on pay-per-view here in the States or not. Canelo versus Golovkin 3. Spence Crawford. The death of pay-per-view. And then Boxing Media versus YouTubers. So those are my first 5 shows. I'm going to be producing my shows weekly. They're going to be on all of your podcasting platforms. From Apple to Spotify to Google, Pandora, Amazon, all that jazz. And then, of course, I stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And that doesn't include the streams I'm going to do like I'm doing today with, covering major press conferences. I didn't stream on Tuesday. We did stream, but I had some technical difficulties, so I had to reset everything. Yeah, well, once the podcast, once I finish setting everything up, it's pretty much almost set up. I'm going to be shooting my my first shows this weekend. I'm definitely going to be sharing all of my podcast information. And basically, my podcasts are going to be independent from my YouTube channel. So the same content that you see here is not going to be on my podcast. My podcasts are going to be straight boxing, 30 minutes to an hour, straight to the point, no frills, no, none of that shit. I even typed up my template intro here. Let me see. Let me read it to you. It's going to be like, welcome to the Fight View 360 podcast, hosted by myself, TstreeT Controversy of YouTube and FightView360.com. We provide an uncut and unfiltered view in the world of boxing news, rumors, rankings, pay-per-view, pre-fight, and post-fight reactions, and most importantly, boxing politics. No frills, no fluff, no allegiances, no alliances. We tell it like it is. We've covered dozens of events worldwide with credential media for the biggest networks and promoters, from Floyd Mayweather, from Mayweather to Pacquiao, to both Joshua Ruiz fights and everything in between. We also dabble in mixed martial arts and UFC coverage, but be warned, this show is for mature audience, and we do engage in off-color humor and jokes, but that's going to be edited and, all that jazz. Why? Add more value to your YouTube? Nope, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. But thank you for your advice, but no, you don't really know what you're talking about. No offense. But anyway, I'm going to be here on Saturday night covering this card. We're going to be streaming live during the main event. I might stream during Kownacki versus Demirezen, since that may end early, because I don't think that fight's going to go to distance. But anyway, we're going to be here streaming nonetheless before the main event of Dina Garcia versus Jose Benavidez. And the card's going to be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern on Showtime. Also, you have UFC, 279 or was it 280? I forgot the numbers this weekend with Julian Pena versus Amanda Nunes too. Going to be covering that after boxing. Then next week you got the Jake Paul card, Hasim versus Hasim Rahman. You got the return of Vergil Ortiz taking on Michael McKinson. Then also you have Blair Cobbs taking on Maurice Hooker. This weekend, another fight I'm interested in the midday card on Boxer, Sky Sports over in the UK. Isaac Chamberlain is not a Chamberlain. Taking on, who's he fighting again? I don't forgot who Isaac Chamberlain's fighting. Oh, CBS, Chris Bellum-Smith. So once again, thanks for watching. I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. I'll see you guys at 6 p.m. Eastern for my next stream, where we're going to be talking about Keith Thurman, pay-per-views, and how there's too many of them in this now official recession. And also the Usyk Joshua 2 undercard that is official. And will it be pay-per-view over here in the States? Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys later. I'll be back in about 4 hours or so. Drop a like before you go.